How old exactly are the Great Pyramids? Now, there's so much debate and so many thoughts. There are people who think that the pyramids are 24,000 years old, 60,000 years old, 100,000 years old. There are people who think that it dates back to the end of the last ice age, somewhere around 11,600 years ago. There are people who think that they were constructed just before the Sahara went dry. And then, of course, there's the traditional idea that they were built during the time of the Old Kingdom underneath the pharaohs of the Old Kingdom, or I should call the Sun Kingdom of Ra. Now, truth be told, there really is no actual hard evidence for the pyramids being older than the Old Kingdom itself. The only evidence that's used for this is the fact that we can look at the Great Pyramids. We can look at the data set that we have, the archaeological record that we have of the tools that the Egyptians of the Old Kingdom had at their disposal to build the Great Pyramids. And we can see that there is a disparity between the two. That at least our ability to use these tools would not be satisfactory to create the Great Pyramid. We can see this disparity here between the tools that they had and what they supposedly built. Now, people take that and they essentially think, well, there must have been another great lost ancient civilization that existed before the Egyptians, before the dynastic Egyptians, that achieved these feats, of which we haven't found any hard evidence of those cultures yet. I'm not saying that it 100% did not happen, or that there wasn't another civilization that lived in Egypt long before the dynastic and biblical Egyptians. I'm just saying we haven't found their bodies, we haven't found their trash, we haven't found them yet. That being said, Egyptologists attribute, let's say, the Great Pyramid to Khufu. Now, this comes from a variety of sources. You have other people who are buried around the Great Pyramid, such as the physician of Khufu, the head of Khufu's gangs, Khufu's lead architect, the dentist of Khufu. It goes on and on and on. And all of these mastaba tombs are found all around the Great Pyramid that seemingly and contextually point towards this great monument, as if all of these people are buried around a large monument and they all attribute themselves to the reign of Khufu, well, what must this monument mean? Well, it must mean that it's probably Khufu's tomb, right? That's how Egyptologists interpreted that. And there are some other things as well, such as the hieratic glyphs that have been found inside the relieving chambers that essentially say Khufu's gang was here. Although there's a lot of controversy over whether or not those are legitimate. The veracity of these hieratic glyphs are very much always in question. But then you have the carbon dating of the mortar between the stones that seems to be centuries older than they estimate Khufu to have lived. I don't really understand what exactly the explanation is there. I don't know how we solve this. Is it possible that the Great Pyramid was built in a time earlier than Khufu, but still within the Old Kingdom? And if that's the case, well, how much does that throw up in the air all of the chronology that we understand about the Old Kingdom?